Okay. So today is January 13th. There were explosions last night. There are most nights. We didn't get to take Oliver to preschool on time. The air raid was still going on when we woke up. But once the alert lifted, we took Oliver in. There was no power at his school, but there was heat, and so they press on. I showed up to work here and had power for about 10 minutes before everything shut off. Looking at the news, I saw that they had struck a post office, a children's hospital, and they took out another power plant just last night. Ukrainians are working as fast as they can to fix the power and the heat and the water, only to have the Russians come in but break it all again. And there are cities in Ukraine that haven't had power for days. On January 10th, we had a cold snap, so right now it's about 25 degrees below freezing, and it's been this cold for days. It's been a long week. We spent 36 hours straight with no power after a major attack on January 10th. We have a lot of friends who have it worse than us. We in Ukraine are spending the dark winter months in the dark.
And you see this anywhere you go. Dark winter streets with no street lights, massive apartment buildings with only a smattering of lights. And then there is the sound of the blackouts. See, any business that wants to survive has to have a generator. We call it a symphony. So I've been around the generators with Oliver a bunch of times, and he keeps trying to talk to me, and I'll say, bud, just wait a minute till we get past it. And he says, what? And I'll say, dude, just wait. And every time he keeps talking, because he's 5 years old. So we have been working on the construction of a home and a garage in a village that Russia ravaged. And even though the sites are wired up, we have to work off generators there in a village with no gas station. The power situation is demoralizing, and that's the point. We've been working with Safe Haven for 14 years. Safe Haven is a transition home that has taken in over 80 young people. Just wrapped up Christmas break, and the family had a lot more time at home. And on Christmas Day, they had 6 hours of darkness, followed by 2 hours of electricity. Later, they tried to get out of the city for a bit to have an easier time, but Russia had launched a massive attack that night and into the morning. And it ended up taking the family 4 hours in traffic just to get out of the city. Every Ukrainian is tired. They're tired of the war. They're tired of worrying about their loved ones who are risking their lives on the front. They're tired of everyone else being at risk as Russia targets hospitals. They hit one last night here in Kyiv, and schools, and churches, and apartment buildings, like this one. This one. And we have friends who live in this building. So I can actually see my apartment from right here. So this strike also took out the van of a pastor friend that I know and left a piece of shrapnel on his head. And this is Kyiv Christian Academy, where our friends teach and go to school. Damaged by a Shahed drone just before Christmas break. Oh, and side note, when most people think of drone attacks, they probably think of this kind of drone. That is not what is pummeling Ukrainian cities. The Shahed drones look like small planes, and even the smallest one is taller than me. And they can have a wingspan that's as big as 70 feet. And they can pack anywhere from a couple of 100 pounds all the way up to half a ton of explosives. And they travel fairly slowly. You hear them flying past, you hear Ukrainian high caliber guns trying to shoot them down out of the sky, and then you wait. So this was hit on December 27th, the day before President Zelensky met President Trump to discuss a peace plan in Florida. And when President Trump was asked about it, he said, I believe that Ukraine has also carried out some very strong attacks. He was trying to make these two sides equal. This is not neutrality, it is a false equivalency, and the result is a US policy that has benefited Russia and has led to more Ukrainian and civilian deaths over the past year, as well as prolonged the war. See, after 3 years of brutal war, Ukraine has developed the ability to strike deep into Russia. They are targeting Russia's ability to make war. But as I said, Russia is targeting buildings like this, and hospitals, and churches, and schools in Ukraine. This is not a war where both sides are to blame. Russia is the aggressor, and Ukraine is in a defensive fight for survival. This was hit just over a week ago, but if you look at the street, it's almost pristinely clean. Ukrainians jump in full-fledged, clean things up, cover up broken windows. This is their home, and they're taking care of it. The war is everywhere. It is exhausting, but Ukrainians stand, they fire up their generators and keep working. They volunteer, they give, they rebuild, and they are improving the country even as Russia is trying to destroy. They do this because they are choosing to live, and we get to stand with them. We partner with 2 churches that are helping that village north of Kyiv recover after Russia destroyed most of it, and I've been helping them rebuild slowly. We also go with a team of Ukrainians to an area near the front lines to make warm food for those who are coming off and heading to the front lines. We gather as much valuable supplies as we can, but mostly we're present for those who are risking their lives. We are able to show them that they are not forgotten. And right now we are busy starting our used English bookstore, Bookhaven. Access to affordable English books is something that Ukrainians who are proficient in English are so incredibly happy about. And this will be one more way that we can generate funds for all of our different projects. This war, amongst other things, just costs everyone more. The budget for all of our projects are so much higher than it was before the full-scale invasion. And that is why we are so grateful that you partner with us. You allow us to keep helping those who need it the most at this critical time. And if you're willing, we could use even more. Either way, thank you for caring. Please pray for a just peace.